Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Josiah. And this channel is just me running my mouth. But today's video, I think I really do want it to be like the most, if you never watch another video on my channel, watch this one. I've talked about politics before on here. I will probably continue to talk about politics, but this video is not about politics insofar as I will not be sharing any of my political views on anything. So let's get that out of the way, first of all. So anybody can watch this, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, or if you're on it at all, no matter what your views are. This video is not going to be me trying to convince you of anything or anything like that. So it's this video today. I've been trying to script it for a while now and I'm just not really good at that because my brain doesn't work like that. I just do stuff in the moment. So I just have a couple little notes that I wrote. I don't even know if I'm gonna edit this because y'all know I don't really edit my videos. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here and talk about the main premise of the video is how we communicate with others and, how we communicate with others as the ones sharing information and how we communicate with others as the ones receiving information. That's kind of what the video is basically about. And hopefully it can give you more insight into me, especially if you do know me and do know specifically my political views, but also just other things too. And maybe it'll give you a chance to look deeper into, who you are, into yourself, and kind of reflect that way. So without dragging that intro out any longer, I wanted to kind of do this in a fun, cute little way, where I just use like idioms or quotes to kind of get my points across. So this is not really in any order written down. We'll see if I edit it or not. Like I said, though, y'all know I don't edit, so I might not. But the first one I have on my list is sticks and stones. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. So we all know that idiom or whatever, and it's kind of taught we learn it to kind of say, well, if someone bullies you learn it kind of as a kid. Like if you're getting bullied in school, like just brush it off. Like those words are not really important or whatever. And like over time, we've kind of learned that phrase is not necessarily always accurate. Like words actually really can hurt people. And a lot of the times the words we use can make people feel really good about themselves as well. So the reason I wanted to use that idiom is to kind of say the words that we say when we're talking to other people, whether we mean for it to or not, can hurt those people. And there's numerous reasons for that, whether it's something we say directly about them or whether we're saying something about, maybe a political view that they have that they maybe hold very personally. Whether it's something about, something else that they like, they might feel attacked if you say you don't like it or something. There could be numerous reasons for that. So I just wanted to get on here and say, I take that very seriously. Like I've been told that I've been told that I've hurt people, based on, just specifically, this is gonna be coming from a place of politics, but I'm not gonna share any of my views. I'm not doing that today. But I have been told that I've hurt people by something I've reposted or by something I've said in regards to a, political topic. And that's never if you know me or not, you know that I'm not like the kind of person that just wants to go around hurting people. So I always try to apologize when that does get brought to my attention. Sometimes it doesn't get brought to my attention. Like I've had other people have to tell me that oh, this person was really, hurt by this or really uncomfortable by this, but I didn't know because they just blocked me or something. So, and that's okay, everybody's welcome to do their own thing. But that's just kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about is the things we say can be hurtful, whether we mean for it to or not. So just be aware. I'm not even saying that it necessarily means you have to not say what you think or not say what you said. Just be aware, I guess, that is an outcome. That's an outcome. I'm telling that to myself as someone with that experience, but also telling it to you maybe if you don't have that experience. Too. I hope y'all can hear also. My window's open, so. But I think that's kind of that on that. Again, I don't really have a script that I'm going off of, so if I drift back and forth between subjects, just bear with me, okay? The next one on my list is actually a quote from Kamala Harris that I really like. It's the one where she says, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?" But seriously, the entire quote is, "You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you." And a lot of people like to make fun of that for word salad or whatever, but I actually genuinely like that quote. I think it's pretty profound. And it's true. Like, you're a product of all of your life experiences before, where you got to today, basically. And so, to that I say, the ways that we think and the ideas and beliefs that we hold, the values that we have, in large part are formed by the families we grew up in, the communities we were in as children, the church we went to, the school we went to, everything all of the people and communities and experiences around us shaped us into being who we are today. So that can go down to religious beliefs, that can go down to political beliefs, that can go down to, all kinds of things, cultural beliefs, all kinds of different things. And so that being said, that's another thing that every single person is bringing to the table when you're having a discussion of any kind, literally of any kind. I could ask you what your morning routine is. That probably came out of, what you learned how to do as a child in your family. So it comes down to every little thing. It's not just politics, but politics is a really big one because a lot of people hold their values very personally, and a lot of, things are very important to people. So that's another thing where it's like, you come from this place, I come from this place, and we're trying to have a discussion, and we're just, butting heads the whole time because we're coming from two completely different places. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is maybe to try to just say, hey, I want to hear more about maybe like why you think this way, like what shaped you into having this belief. And maybe instead of focusing on where you disagree, just focus on, why the other person thinks that way. Even if you wholeheartedly disagree with it, that could be a really nice way to engage in conversation with another person. So I think that's just something that's really important to keep in mind, is that we all come from different places and different experiences, and that shapes us into who we are today. And that doesn't mean that just because you grew up in a Christian household that you're now a Christian today. It could also be because you grew up in a Christian household, you're an atheist today. Like that's also how that works. So it goes both ways. It's like, I grew up in a Republican household, so I'm a Democrat now, after I realized I disagree with all those things. Or I grew up in a Republican household and I'm a Republican now because of, it's the same thing. So you exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. To use another Kamala Harris quote, kind of in line with this same thing, is, this is my favorite quote of hers ever, is we have so much more in common than what separates us. And that, to me, is like, even though we have all these different experiences, we still have so much in common at the same time. Like, that's kind of the cool thing about us as human beings. Like, we are gonna have a lot of similar experiences. We are gonna have a lot of similar interests. We are gonna have a lot of similar hobbies and similar stories, and just, we're gonna have a lot more in common. And I think as humans, we like kind of having groups, and we like having our people, our family, our friends, our people that know us, love us, that we're very similar to. So anytime we're different than someone, it's really easy to laser focus on those differences rather than, you know, try to find similarities between each other. So it's equally important, I think, to focus on the differences and to learn from the differences, because that's what makes us grow, is different, you know, engaging with people that are different than us. But also not only focusing on the differences so much so that we, you know, lose ourselves and can't even relate to the person at all. Especially, like, you know, when you think of, like, I've lost friends, for example, I've lost lifelong friends due to political differences. And sometimes that happens. I get it. I don't really get it, but I get that happens sometimes. Like, I know I'm not the only person that's happened to. I've heard plenty of stories, especially since the election. Like, I've heard numerous stories of people losing friends and family and stuff just because of who they voted for, which has never made sense to me. Because again, because of that part that it's like, well, we still have so much more in common. We're family. We grew up together. We have all the same stories. We like the same foods. We listen to the same music. We have the same ancestry. Like, all these different things. Went to the same school. Like, whatever it is. That for that one thing to be like the thing that drives you apart is, I don't know. I feel like we should be bigger people than that. I feel like we should be better than that. And to that point, someone's gonna say, I just can't, if you really have this political belief, that I don't feel like I can be close to you anymore for this reason. And again, that goes back to, some people just hold their political beliefs really personally. And again, it's not just, some people do the same thing with religion. They'll ostracize you if you stop believing in that religion. And I also don't think that we should be doing that. Like, I just think that we should try to hone in on those similarities and really get to know people for who they are. Especially if it's people you already know. It's one thing if it's just, you know, Joe Schmo off the street who's different than you in all these ways. That's one thing. But if it's like somebody you grew up with, someone you know well, someone you've hung out with, you know, more days than not, then instead of just pushing that person away, because sometimes I find myself struggling with that too. Maybe it's easier for me, because I don't know, it's just easier for me to push differences like that aside. But there are times where I will get upset that somebody disagrees with me or doesn't want to hear my point of view on this, but I'm not gonna stop talking to you over that, or I'm not gonna not want to hang out with you over that. I don't know. To me, our relationship is much more important than that. And everybody's not that way. But again, like I said, this video is for you to get to know me a little better, as well as do some introspection. So if after all that you still say, no, it's more important for me to push that person away, then do it. If you think that's what you need to do it. I'm just saying, as humans, and if we really want the best for everyone, then I don't know that the best for everyone is cutting people off. Okay, I have two more written down. okay, I wrote down, it's the thought that counts. So that goes back to kind of what I was talking about earlier. It's the thought that counts. That's what we say when maybe like it's your birthday and I forgot to give you a gift. And I'm like, oh, I've been thinking about it the past 2 weeks. I just never got around to it or whatever because I was busy with work and whatever. Well, it's the thought that counts. You know, I appreciate you thinking about me and wanting to show me your appreciation that you have for me by giving me a gift. I appreciate that more than the physical gift itself, if that makes any sense. In a similar vein, I think that when it comes to kind of these heated debates and things we can have in politics, it's the thought that counts. I wrote that down because I'm thinking my intention when I say this versus the actual product of what you got from it might be two completely different things. And in the case of if I say something and you find it hurtful, then that's two different things because I'm not saying something to hurt you or anyone else. I'm just saying something because I believe that that is the case. So if your favorite food is oranges and my favorite food is apples, and I say apples are good, and you take that to be hurtful, then that's two different things. Let's say, well, no, you just like apples, and you think apples are the best food, so you said apples are good. The same way, if you told me oranges are good, my feelings won't be helpful. Feelings won't be hurt. Now, y'all know I'm not good at analogies, so feel free to just ignore everything I said about apples and oranges. Y'all know I'm not good at analogies, but I refuse to share a single political belief on this video because I don't want to turn anybody off to it. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. But my intention is never to hurt somebody. So if you get hurt by that, please let me know. And same thing for you. If you say something that hurts me and that wasn't your intention, I'm gonna let you know, right? Because I want us to be able to move forward and grow together. So there's kind of two kinds of people though. There's like the kind of people that say, dang, that really hurt me. Like, let me go figure out what's going on. And then they find out, you know, oh, that's not what you meant by it. Like when you said that, either you worded it wrong or I just took it wrong. Now I can I can see where you're coming from. Even if we still disagree, I see where you're coming from and like I'm no longer hurt by it. And then there's the other people that say, well, you know, like your intention doesn't really matter. Like I don't really care whether you meant to hurt me or meant to be nice. The outcome was that I was still hurt, so that's the problem. And there's always going to be those two kinds of people. And I can see where both are coming from, but I think, especially if someone's genuine, right? It's possible that someone's just being a troll and they're just saying, oh, I didn't mean it, and then they're just like, whatever. But if someone genuinely doesn't mean to hurt you and you are still telling them that they're being hurtful, one, does getting hurt by somebody justify hurting them back? That's one, and that's a rhetorical question. I'm not here to answer that. And the second one is, what good is constantly telling someone that they're being hurtful gonna do if they're constantly telling you back that they're not trying to do that? That leads me into my next point, I think, which is not seeing the forest for the trees. I think that when it comes to politics, especially, which is kind of where this video is coming from, it's very easy for us to get bogged down in the details of a very specific policy, and going back and forth as to who's right about this or which side is going to be on the right side of history with this or whatever. sometimes it really boils down to looking at the bigger picture rather than focusing on those little details. Because I've had some good conversations actually with people that I disagree with on various topics. Again, I will not be getting specific. I don't have time for that today. On various topics where we say, okay, we disagree on this. Like, we are not going to change each other's minds here. But what about this bigger issue up here that maybe connects to this? What about this bigger issue? Can we agree on this? And we find that we can agree on that. And it's like, okay, well, if we can agree on this bigger issue, which I'm going to call the forest, what does it matter if this tree is like this and this tree is like this? If we can agree on this, which is going to be more beneficial to more people, right? Because it's bigger, then imagine we can agree here, and then we can agree here, and we can agree here. Again, going back to that Kamala Harris quote, we have more in common than what separates us. There's more places that we might be able to agree if we stop focusing on the places where we disagree. So maybe I could have just cut those. Maybe I didn't have to separate those two quotes out, but whatever. I'm probably not going to edit that out, though, because y'all know. That's kind of it, though. Those are like kind of my 5 main idioms, quotes, proverbs, whatever, that I just wanted to use to be able to say, hey, these are how we can maybe think about how we use our words better, and this is how we can listen to other people's words better. Yes, I'm talking a lot about politics because, as y'all know, I've been very passionate about that. That's where a lot of this is coming from. But I feel like I've gained a lot and because of it, and I also feel like I've lost a lot because of it. So I feel like it's important for me to just talk about. I had 2 other things that I wanted to talk about, and I did not write them down, but one of them I can remember, it just came to my head, is that some people's minds will not change. And my goal is never really to change anybody's mind when I talk to them. At least not, that's not my immediate goal. Maybe it's the ultimate goal, but my immediate goal is to understand where they're coming from and make sure they understand where I'm coming from. That's really kind of the 2 main things. And see if we can find middle ground. Those are the 2. If I'm ever in an argument or debate or discussion with somebody, those are kind of the 3 main things. Understand where they're coming from, understand where I'm coming from, and see if we can find middle ground. But some people, like I said, some people's minds will not change no matter what. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can say, nothing you can tell them, nothing you can show them to change their mind. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's pride or something else. I always try to say, I always try to embrace the idea that I could be wrong about something. Even on the things that I feel like I'm 1,000,000% right about, I entertain the idea that I could be wrong. Because 1, I just feel like it keeps me humble, but 2, if someone shows me convincing evidence that, thing A actually isn't this way, it's actually this way, then I will change my mind about thing A. Like, I will. I think it can be embarrassing to be wrong about something, and it can be a bit humiliating, I guess, but I also think it can be very mature to be able to admit when you're wrong about something, and it shows growth, I think, when you're willing to change your mind about something. So that's the first one, and even this video alone, is not going to might not change anybody's mind on some of the things I said. Again, that's not really the point. The point is just to understand where I'm coming from, and for you to hopefully do some introspection and see where you're coming from. But this video I might be talking to a brick wall. I mean, of course, right now I'm talking to a phone, right? But this video might not land on any ears that need to hear it. I hope it does. But all I can do is what I can, right? So I really don't remember the second thing I was gonna talk about, so if I remember it, I'll record another little bit and add it. But other than that, I hope that you enjoyed listening to me run my mouth for a little bit. Sorry that I haven't posted in a while. Actually, I don't know if it's been that long since I posted. I really wanted this video to come out before the election also, just so that I couldn't seem like I was having a bias in one way or the other. I don't think I am because I'm not talking about anything political, but you never know. But of course I didn't get to that because of just some other things. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.